Dear friends, today we'll discuss a topic that I, as a student, found it challenging, but we'll make it very easy to understand. The topic is class, instant object, and inheritance. That is what comes from child class. So let's first look up what is class and what is instance or object. So here we have defined a class which is animal, and that will have a constructor or method which is defined as init, and it has three parameters: self, name, and age. The self parameter refers to the instance of the class. So when you create an instance or object of the class, which is animals 1 here, and pass on the value of dog and 5 to these arguments, then what happens is that Python creates a space, memory, memory space, and then the init method is immediately called in, and in within that init method, you have the dog and 5 as arguments for the name and age. Um, and then the attributes of that instance, the name and age attributes of the instance, are passed on to the name and age arguments using self.name and self.age. So when you want to get the name and age um, argument attributes of the this instance animal one, so you print animal one dot name and animal one dot age. So that's the basics of a class. And then when we try to now go into child class or subclass, which is inheritance. So I have little bit small thing written out. Inheritance is a powerful feature in object oriented programming that allows a class, the child or class or subclass, to inherit attributes and methods from another class. So I have explained you what a method is. This is init is a method, um, and then the attributes of the parent class it inherits. So let's first create a parent class animal, and it has two attributes, two parameters: self and species. And this self refers to the instance of the class when it's created, and it assign it's the species attribute of that instance is assigned to the value of that 1 second, the value of the arguments. So then you create a child class which is class dog, and how do you know it's a child class? We have this argument here, animal, um, and we have a constructor or method or constructor of the child class. Now when we create an instance of the uh, child class, which is dog 1, and it has arguments value of buddy and 5, then first thing it does is it calls the method for the constructor of the child class. But the constructor of the child class does not um, does not provide the parameter for the species. So it does not relate to the species parameter. So what happens is that we need a super method to pass on the value of dog to the species to the species argument. So what happens is now um, the child class dog, the species attribute is dog, and then the name and age are assigned by self dot name and self dot age. And so if you now print it, then dog one dot name, you get buddy, and dog dot age, you get 5. So that is what how the class and its instance, the constructor or method or constructor, all this now it's very I hope it's clear to you. But we need to look at one more aspect here, and quickly I'll go through that, and that is uh, why do we need um, okay, let's do the slideshow. Why slideshow from the beginning? So why do we need this child class, and we need this class, child class, and inheritance? Why do we need all this? The reason is that it makes the reusability of the code possible. So that once we have the subclasses inherit. So here you have animal, dog and cat are subclasses or child classes. So the initialization from the animal class is already in the subclasses. This avoid duplicating the attribute and initialization code in both dog and cat classes. So now if you same way, if you go back to another example, shape, which is a parent class, and then you have a circle, which is a child class, square, which is a child class, and then what you can do, you can bring in modularity. If you extend more such shapes, then we don't need to duplicate the common attribute and method. Similarly, you have another example where you have employee with salary is provided as an argument, name and salary, and then the manager name, salary, and department, and name, salary, programming language. Now the thing is, if you have to change the name, salary, you need to modify the constructor in the employee class, and changes automatically applied to all the subclasses, manager and developer. So efficiency through simplified updates and changes. So, in conclusion, more efficient code through reusability, modularity, and increased flexibility, simplified updates, right? And then one more thing before I end this video. Python is object-oriented programming. So, therefore, a very key attribute of object-oriented programming is class, object, and and inheritance, child class. um, so these are the things that you need to look out for. Have a nice week ahead. Thank you. Bye.